Hi everyone, Sandy here. In this video I'm going to show you my latest project, design team project for Country Craft Creations. This time for the month of May I am using the Authentique Poised paper collection in this real pretty yellow and gray and black colors. And I have created this little accordion fold album. I know there's a lot of them already out there, but this is the way I do mine, and I wanted to share with you how I finished it up and plan to use it. So here on the front I have added a Prima frame from my collection that I lightly inked with black, and I added some of the black trim that I got in my design team package. I added two bows, one in gray and one in black, that I spritzed with water and tied the tails with knots on the end and cut it short and let it fray here on the ends. This is seam binding ribbon from Country Craft Creations. The roses are from my stash and the leaves are from my stash, and then this is from the Elements sheet where I wrinkled it up and glued it across the bottom. The frame you can glue a picture in here or gently slide one in. I would probably just cut, fit, and glue it in. And I also used some flat back pearls here on the ends of this strip that says Kind Heart, Fierce Mind, Brave Spirit. So this is how this opens up. I have no closure on it. I did not want a closure because I'm going to use it for like on a table or a mantle. So you open this up. This is the inside cover. I have a pocket here made out of the patterned paper. Some of the cutter parts with a belly band that you can just slide that in and out. Each page has a photo mat. I have different sizes. This is the smallest one because I didn't want to cover up the dress form. Then I decorated with Wink of Stella and some of the Nouveau Crystal Glaze, flat back pearls. The Wink of Stella and the glaze is on the flowers that are here on the dress form. I used some of the trim here, just kind of draped it around and draped some of the ribbon here on that. And then I pretty much kept it kind of simple. The photo mats, all of the elements that I attached are attached so that you can still slide a photo under without them being in the way. I did use some vintage buttons that I had in my stash, like this real pretty yellow one here. And here's some of the spritzed and wrinkled ribbon that I tied in a bow. This is from the Elements sheet. This is banners. This is also from the Elements, and then some more vintage buttons. And so I just kind of continued the same look all the way through it with the flat back pearls here and here, and another pocket on the back cover. Beauty is power, small is its sword. So these come out, and this is also a belly band. And then when you close it back up, from the left side you can also flip it. You'll find more pages with the same treatment. This one I did add the roses, the flat back pearls. This you can slide under. Here's some more of the photo mats, the yellow vintage buttons, the pearls. With all these are elements that come in the collection. So when you order a full collection, you get the papers, the 12 by 12 papers, and a sheet of the elements that come with it. There's another vintage button and some more pearls. And then on the back, I used one of the cut aparts, matted it in black, and then I used the saying that comes on the branding strip on the all authentic paper. Is the same on all of them in a collection, the same verse, but I like to kind of add that there on the back. So you can also open this up and stand it up on your table so that you can see all your photos on both sides, or you can reverse it from different times. So that's what an accordion album does. It lets you display the album open like this so that you can actually see the photos. So this is the showcase part of this little album. The tutorial will follow immediately after I show you the supplies that I use from Country Craft Creations. So hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my first May tutorial for Country Craft Creations as a design team member. This is my package that I received from Country Craft Creations to create with for the month of May. I have this bag of seam binding ribbon and some black trim. I have the silvery gray ribbon here, black, and a white ribbon to go with this collection. I was sent the Authentique Poised collection. This is the element sheet that you can punch out and add layers to make it like chipboard, or you can just glue it down like it's a sticker to decorate your pages. And then I received 2 each of the collection. So this is Poised 6 with the cut aparts. And then we have Poised 4. Of course, they're double-sided, so I'm showing you both sides. And I have 2 of each from the collection. I will not be using, I don't think, all of this for my first project, so I will keep some for the second and third project. But this is what I will be working with if you're wanting to order some for yourself. You can also get it as a collection pack online at Country Craft Creations while it's available. So this is Poised 1. The other one was Poised 5. I kind of got them mixed up because I've been playing with them or looking at them. Here's Poised 2. It's a little pretty collection. Poised 3. Lots of fun. Pretty black and yellows in this. And then I also got the Authentique Spectrum in the Blackjack. Got a sheet of that. The Lemon Drop. And the Silver Dollar. 2 12 by 12 medium weight chipboard. I'll be using one for this project. And then I also have the Country Craft Creations Artisan black paper. I'll be starting out with just 2 sheets of this for this project. I'll be using my art glitter glue. And so let's get started. I have pre-cut my cardstock and chipboard. So I have 2 of the chipboard, the medium weight, cut 2 at 5.5 by 5.5 for the covers. And I cut 1 11 by 5.5, and then 3 11.5 by 5.5. These will make the pages on the inside of the book. Now we're making a simple, quick and simple accordion fold album that you can put on a shelf or on a mantle to display some photos. And I just thought the Poised was really pretty, and I have a special idea for some photos that I want to use for it. So I'm going with that. I know that there are lots of accordion albums out there and tutorials. They're all very similar. It's just a real simple, basic little album that you put together. But I thought I would go ahead and do one and show you how I'm going to decorate mine with the Poised Authentique Poised collection. Okay, to wrap my covers, I selected 2 pieces of the paper from the collection. I'm Poised 1 because I want this big rose arrangement on the front, and Poised 5 with the smaller ones on the back. My pieces are 5.5, so I'm going to wrap these. And so I cut this 6.5 by 6.5, both of these pieces, to not use up as much as my paper and to get as much of this rose pattern here at the top as I could. I actually measured in this branding strip right here in with my 6.5. So you can do that if you want to. If you don't want to, then you would start your 6.5 from here, but that's going to lose some of this rose image. So I cut mine 6.5 from the edge, including this, because it's going to be folded under, and I think that'll be okay, because I'm going to put a matting on the back. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these pieces of chipboard that's 5.5 by 5.5, and we're going to glue it to the back so that we have about 1/2 inch on all 4 edges. So I'm just going to grab the art glitter glue right now, and we're going to put that on. Get it fairly as straight as you can, and I want a little bit of this edging to be the pattern paper, so I just kind of got it more narrow down here, and that's okay. I'm going to burnish it with my hands and then flip it over, grab my bone folder, and burnish and smooth out that glue. Using your hand also helps to warm and spread out the glue. So there's that piece on that one, and we'll do the same with the second 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, let's take this first piece. We're going to fold up the edges where we're going to wrap right along the chipboard. So you can just stand that up, or you can score it with your bone folder, however you want to get that crease. And then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut at an angle, and I'm leaving about an 1/8, 16th of an inch, I would say, right across the end. Not all the way to the tip. You want to leave a little bit of paper. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other one the same way before I start gluing the folds down. And then miter cut these corners as well. Okay, now we're ready to glue those down, or you can use score tape if you want. I think on this smaller one I'm just going to go ahead and use the glue. Put a straight line of glue. I like to put it right along this edge of the chipboard to kind of soften that paper up and make it bend over really good. Get a really nice clean line. So like that. So put a line of that glue right up along that chipboard. Make sure it's covered, and then you can just zigzag the rest. So if you want a little wider, if you're using this branding strip in with your measurement, and you want a little wider, go ahead and cut it instead of 6 1/2, maybe another 1/4 inch, so like 6 3/4 to get that. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to press down on this excess paper from this strip to make sure that it lays flat there into the corner where we're going to bring it together, and that will give you a good miter. So I'm going to glue this one same way. I'm going to put glue along the chipboard and then zigzag the rest of it, and then bring it over. Wipe off any excess glue you might have and burnish. So once that's down, you have a really nice corner here. So through the other side as well, make sure that if there's any very much excess paper to push it in. Okay, so there's our front cover right there with the roses in the top left, and so I'm going to do the other just exactly the same off camera. Okay, I have the front and back covers wrapped. This is what they look like for now, and we're just going to set those aside. And let's grab our one piece that is 11 inches by 5 1/2, and we're going to score. We're going to put the 11 inch at the top, and we're going to score at 5 1/2. Okay, I'll keep my tag on there so I know which one it is. Then we take the 3 11 1/2 by 5 1/2. Put your 11 1/2 inch side in at the top, and you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and at 6. And we're going to do the same on all three. 1/2 inch, 6 inch. Set that aside. Okay, now we're ready to do some folding and burnishing, and then we'll be ready to put this together. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold and burnish each one of these. Got some glue off my fingers. Just fold them each so they'll be like that. Okay, so take one of your pieces that has the center score and the 1/2 inch over here. You're going to open this up. You don't want it folded over, you want it flat. You're going to take a second one, same type, scored in the middle, 1/2 inch on the side, but you're going to glue this cut edge where there's no score line onto the 1/2 inch up to the fold, just like that. So we're making a long continuous accordion piece. So I'm just going to apply glue right through here. This is just on that 1/2 inch, and again it's got to be laying flat. Take my second piece that has 1/2 inch over here. You want the 1/2 inch way over on the right, and you're going to glue this cut edge right along on that 1/2 inch. Make sure you line up down here and up here. So I'll use my scoreboard here to help me stay straight, pretty much. But I want to make sure these are even, top and bottom. Don't go over your fold line of that 1/2 inch piece there. So go ahead and burnish. You need to turn it over and get the back side, clean off any glue. So we're going to slide this over. So we have this 1/2 inch laying flat, got your score line there. You take your third one that has the 1/2 inch, and again we're going to glue it together. So line this cut edge up, your 1/2 inch is over here on your right, line it up without going over your fold line. Make sure it's lined up here on the bottom and it's straight across the top. Okay, burnish it down. Made sure it was not over the score lines. Just turn it over and burnish. Okay, straight down here, if it's a little bit hanging off down here on this hinge, just barely trim it off. Sometimes they just don't quite get cut the same. Just tiny bits split off. So now what we have, this long piece. Can't show you all of it at once, but there you go. This piece does not have a hinge, but this right one does. Okay, so that's our last 1/2 inch hinge. We're going to press it down. And you're going to grab this one that is already scored in half, has no hinges at all. It's going to go right here, which will leave us with a piece on the end that has no hinge. So glue into the 1/2 inch hinge section. Straighten this up here and line this up. And burnish. Okay, so there's our long accordion piece. We have the front and back panels that will attach to our cover. So we're going to fold this up. This is going to be the front. This is going to fold this way, down, just an accordion, just like that. So there's the album. So the covers go here. See how you have a mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, and the other cover. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pause the camera for a bit, and then I'm going to get my covers and check everything out, and we'll get ready to glue those together. I think I'm going to move this board out of the way, give it a little flatter space. Okay, so you will notice that on this particular little album, the pages are the same size as the cover. That's because we want them to be able to sit together and open up and stand. So if you had a bigger cover, the pages would not touch the shelf or the counter that you're trying to stand it up on. So if you prefer to use score tape for this, you can. I am going to go ahead and use my glue. And then we're going to sit this right here on here and make sure that it's straight. The glue will give me a little bit of wiggle room. However, with score tape, you could use undo if you get it on crooked. But I'm going to use glue. So I'm going to put the glue here. Kind of work fast, not too, you don't want it to start setting up too quick. And so you see, that's why this doesn't matter that that branding strip is there. Some more glue here in the middle. Okay, I'm going to stand up so I can see it better. And we're going to place it right on the edge. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to burnish. So there's our front cover. Flip it over, and let's pay attention to our direction, the lettering on our paper. So it's going to go like this. So the same thing, glue around the perimeter. And then more in the middle. And line it up. Okay, so there's our album covers onto our pages, and we're ready to start adding pattern paper. Now, for this particular album, I am not putting any kind of closure. This is going to be a flat album because you want it to open like this. And then like this. So you don't want to tie closures attached. That keeps the one side from opening. But then you also want to be able to open it and stand it up so that you can see all of it on the shelf. So it would be like that. Okay, so I'm going to look at my pattern papers, go ahead and cut them. I think I'm on a little bit of a black border, so instead of 5.5 by 5.5, I'll be cutting them about 1/8 of an inch shorter in the width and the height. And I will tell you the measurements after I get them all cut. Pick out my pattern papers, you pick out what you want on your pages, and we'll get this covered. Okay, for my pattern papers, this includes the covers. I used, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I used 5 sheets of the pattern papers. I didn't use the 2 cut apart, so I used 5 of the pattern papers, which will cover the pattern, the front and the back of the cover, and all the inside of the album. Cut at 5 3/8 by 5 3/8, and then I still had 2 like this left over. So I still have quite a bit left over. I didn't use any of the spectrum. Now I did ink these. I used the Color Philosophy Potion color, which is like a really dark gray or a light black, if there's such a thing. And of course we had already patterned, wrapped this, and so I'm ready to add these in. So this is what I cut. This is going to be my inside of the album cover, and this will be the first page. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the one side. This is the other inside cover, and then 6 more for the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there you can see the colors that I picked. So you need 14 out of pattern paper cut if you want the 1/8 inch. It doesn't leave much of a margin. As you see, it pretty well fits edge to edge almost. For me, it's easier to line it up that way. If you want the 1/8 of an inch border, then you would cut it 1/4 inch smaller both directions. So that would be, instead of 5 1/2, 5 1/4. Okay, so I have inked these. When I ink, I just take the lid off my inker and I just use my pad. I don't have any inking tools or pads. I'm never having to change anything out. I don't like a lot of heavy inking, so that works really good. If I do, I just turn the edge up and it works fine. So what you want to do is cut your papers, then you're going to open this up, and then you're just going to start gluing this in all the way through. So I'm going to do it off camera because it's just slow and tedious, so I don't want to bore you with that. So pattern yours in the sequence you want to the fronts and the backs, and then I'll come back and we'll do some more. I'll show you some more decorating that I'm going to do on the album. Okay, so I have all my pattern papers in. I did want to tell you that it is easier to open this up and put them in flat, and then make sure you're not going over the score lines or the fold lines. Now you will on some pieces be going over that 1/2 inch hinge. You want to hide that, that's correct. But between each section, make sure you're putting your papers down correct so that you're not folding it, putting it over the fold line of the album. So let me fold this up and then I will show you what I've done. So of course I've got the front cover with the rose like I wanted there. So when I flip this one, I put the yellow here on the inside of the cover. Put this dress form here. Thought that was really pretty. Flip this one so you see the different papers all throughout. Pick the ones that you like the best, which sides. You don't have to use all the sides if you don't want to. Here on the inside back cover I have the yellow again. Okay, so then that folds up, and then from the front we flip over, and then we have the rose here, the ads, plaid, repeat of the wording, and then that on the end. So when it opens up all the way, it's like this. Your accordion, it's kind of hard to see, but you see all the different papers, and then of course we fold it up and we can flip it over again this side, and they all accordion out as well on the back side. So if you like it like that, you could put some title on the front. You could leave these plain to add your pictures, your larger size pictures, or if you want to add some of the decorative elements and stuff, you could do that, maybe some pockets. So I'm going to be working on mine, and I'll share a little bit as I go what I do. So the first thing I'm going to do for the inside pages of this album is I have cut out enough cardstock, and I used probably another 3 sheets of the 12 by 12 artisan cardstock, and I cut black photo mats, and then I also used my stub punch on my chomper and stub punch the corners of all of them. You can use whatever corner punch you have or want, or leave them square, whichever you choose to do. And I've got a small one here for the front, so I have a different sizes here. These bigger ones, it's going to depend on your photos or how you plan to crop your photos. These are 4.5 by 4.5, and then I have these that are 3.5 by 3.5. And then I also have some for the other side that are just 5 inches by 4. And then I have some that are 3 inches by 3.5. So I'm going to glue all these in, and then I'm going to be pulling out different elements that I think would look good with each page. And I'm going to just simply decorate it, and then I will come back on and show you how I'm going to decorate, or show you me decorating the front cover. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing all these in, and you just decorate it the way you want, add the kind of photo mats or no photo mats, whichever you prefer for your album. So I finished the decorating, adding my photo mats and decorating the inside of the album, and I wanted to show you right quick how to make, I'm making pockets. I've already done it on the front inside, just out of a scrap of paper. Actually, it wasn't a scrap. I cut one of the 4x6 cut-aparts in half at 3 inches, so it's 3x4. So I have two. I'm going to put one here. I added this from the Element to create a belly band if you wanted to use it as a belly band, but you don't have to, whichever you want to do. So I'm going to flip back to the back, and I'm going to open this up so it lays flat. So it's easier to work on things when they're laying flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this about 1/4 inch from the bottom and center it side to side. Now I'm taking my glue. As you see, this is the plaid side of this cut apart, and you just put glue, right, a very thin line of glue, if you can get your glue gun to work, right along the edge of each end, and just across one long edge here for the bottom. Then I'm going to position this. I just eyeball it about 1/4 inch and center it, and then gently, to keep my place, just press it with my finger, and then I burnish it down so that it sticks really well. So that makes a flat pocket. And then I have this from the Elements. I'm going to glue across just on the ends, not all the way across. Again, create like a belly band. So just glue here on the flag points on each end. You could also use a scrap of paper. I wanted something with the saying, and I'm centering that right there. And make sure it stays straight. And then I have this cut apart that I want to insert in here, and you could put extra photo mats or pictures, whatever. I may find another one that I like. Poised. Okay, so there's the pocket. So let me do a flip through of this real quick to show you what I've done on the inside, and then I'll start working on the outside. So this opens up this way. So here we have the pocket. I did a small photo mat here because I wanted the dress form. I spritzed some of the seam binding ribbon that you can buy from Country Craft Creations, tied a knot on each end. And so that's wrinkly, I just glued it in different places, like coming down off the dress, or the dress form. And then some of that trim that I got in my design package. Added some flat back pearls, and then I put wing Costello on all the flowers, and then topped that off with some of the Nouveau Crystal Glaze. Okay, so I'm ready for the last part of my little album. I'm going to decorate the front, and I'm going to share with you what I've gathered up, and I've prepped some of it. The first thing I did is I pulled in my stash this Prima rectangle frame. I just think it's so pretty. And then I took my ink, my Color Philosophy ink, and just ran it over it to pick up all these lines and etching parts here, and a little bit of black here on the corner pieces. And then I did this off camera because I wasn't sure if it would work. I've used my 1/8 inch score tape and put it all the way around the perimeter on the back, and then I attached that trim that I had in my design kit package here on the back so that it would look like that. And this is going to go here. But I've also taken one of the cut aparts. It's just the right size, and I'm going to use the plaid side. So this is a 3x4 that's going to go in there, so it's going to go there. And then I pre-made some bows, and what I do is I make my bows and then squish them up like this, and then I spritz them with water, and you just let them dry overnight, or use your heat gun to dry them. So I did a black one and a gray one out of the seam binding ribbon, and then I did some tails. I tied a knot in between, in the middle of a black piece and the gray, and then I tied the knots on all of them because seam binding ribbon is going to fray on you. So I like to just tie a knot and then let it fray. It doesn't bother me. The We Are Memory Keepers ribbon cutting tool that will seal the ends will not work on seam binding ribbon. And I don't like the looks of glue on the ends or fray check or whatever else you might use. So I just let it go natural like that with the frayed ends. I have pulled out some light yellow roses, creamish yellow color here. This is a yellow. Some leaves in my stash. I have some more of the flat back pearls I may or may not use. I have this saying, kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit, that I may use. And I pulled out this really pretty vintage button that I really, really like. So I'm going to use that. So I'm just going to go ahead and probably speed up the video and glue all this on. So you can watch me do that. Okay, so that completes this project for this little accordion fold mini album using Authentique's Poised paper collection. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Make sure you check out Country Craft Creations online store. That's countrycraftcreations.com for your crafting supplies. She carries all of the Authentique paper collections, including the newest and some from earlier this year and possibly some of last year's collection that you might be looking for or that might be just perfect for your project. She has other paper collection lines like Graphic 45, Simple Stories, Echo Park, to name a few, plus your supplies like your art glitter glue, score tape, and different things that you might need, especially the seam binding ribbon for your projects. So thank you again so much for watching, and be sure and check back. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and also click the bell by the subscribe button so that you'll be notified of my next tutorial or showcase videos. I will have another project using this Poised paper collection and a tutorial for that as well. So check back. Thanks again. Bye-bye.